Hi everyone, I am joined by Christina Weaver, who is the Senior Affiliate Marketing Executive at Lovehoney. And just to give a bit of background to those who aren't aware already, Lovehoney is a global retailer brand which launched back in 2002 and specialise in selling products such as sex toys, lingerie and erotic gifts. Lovehoney's tagline is the sexual happiness people, which is based around challenging the societal stigma around how sex toys and erotic products are viewed and ensuring that these products are more inclusive and accessible. And we've had the pleasure of working with Lovehoney here at NMPI by Incubeta since 2019, providing services such as display, CSS, and creative for them. So, hi, Christina, welcome. We're going to dive straight into the questions. So, as mentioned, the tagline of your brand is the sexual happiness people. And sexuality, it does cover a huge spectrum, and it must be quite difficult to strike that balance in order to make your consumers happy. So how do you as a brand navigate these topics such as sexual stigma and the wide range of sexualities and genders that you do have to cater to?
So yeah, thanks for having me. So great question, and it's a big one for sure. So to tackle this really difficult topic, such as sexual stigma, we really do need a tactful approach. So firstly, we're really careful not to mention anything like gender terms. We'll generally use parts of the body to describe the products and their benefits. So we'll say a clitoral toy or a G-spot toy, rather than kind of using gender pronouns, etc. And we also do really believe in inclusivity. So we're very proud to be the leaders in bedroom plus size lingerie. Our lingerie designers actually create designs specifically for plus size bodies, rather than just making the small sizes bigger, which we do see a lot of brands do. We go up to size 28, which is quite out there for other bedroom lingerie brands. So yeah, we're very proud of that fact, and we want to treat every lingerie piece for larger sizes as a creation itself, rather than just upsizing. We do also, in terms of marketing this, work with a really wide range of sexperts and influencers, which really helps us share the sexual happiness message across a really wide range of audiences and gives us more of an authoritative voice. We actually ran an event called Camp Lovehoney a couple of months ago this year via our PR team, which had a really big variety of speakers from various different backgrounds. This just really helps us connect with those markets, and also importantly ensures that we're informed internally as well, because there's so many different segments of people you're targeting, so you need to make sure you understand what issues they're going through, etc. And then lastly, to go on the buying process, since I am part of the marketing team, there is obviously a broad experience spectrum with the customers that we're targeting, from newbies to experts. So we have several buyer's guides, which we put all over the website, and we really help navigate to with all of our ads, really just to help either find your first toy, because it can be a little bit daunting on site at first, I'm not going to lie, and level up your current experience. So it really helps you choose what you want when something can be a little bit scary at first. So currently with NMPI, we are testing native ads. So this is a really nice way to push the content on our site, because we really believe education is the most important part of buying a sex toy. And if you get it right the first time, you'll definitely be back. And seeing a wide range of products on site can be a little bit scary if you're not at that level yet. So we like to make it as easy as possible to find the perfect fit or the perfect vibration.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely seeing that the education piece is such a big factor for Lovehoney does definitely help the kind of reputability, and for newcomers to actually feel really comfortable to kind of enjoy the products on the site. Amazing. So just on to the next question. As digital marketers, we know that there are so many restrictions around what you can and can't advertise online, and that's essentially for safeguarding of consumers. How does Lovehoney navigate these restrictions associated with the advertisement of sex toys and erotic products on the internet?
So firstly, it's worth noting that, we age gate every single piece of marketing we do. We age gate all of our ads across display and all other channels at 18 years old, just to make sure nothing is ever viewed by children. We'd never try and get around the restrictions. We always make sure we work within them, just to make sure our content's not offensive for anyone. We're also very careful not to advertise the more adult products in our more mainstream media, such as the realistic toys, especially through display, because if you've looked at something on site and then you have it retargeting you around the internet, it's definitely not something you want appearing on your home computer. So we're very careful in that respect, not to have a dildo following you around the internet. So to be really sensitive here, we tend to focus on lingerie and the brand generally, or kind of key event themes. But to really get sex toys into some of our ads, we use some creative formats, and we're actually doing a gift finder format at the moment, where we can then try and put sex toys into our ads. Essentially, this is because the user actually interacts with the ad itself. So they'd have to click through a certain amount of steps before they'd actually see a vibrator. So that makes it, they've actually chosen to see that kind of product. And that is where we can kind of integrate more of our adult products into our display ads, for example. Although the ad restrictions, even with that click through, we do try and make sure we don't have the really realistic toys in there, just to make sure we kind of cover any bases and don't offend anyone. But we are, on the flip side, continually trying to change the opinions of regulators, with conversation topics across our PR and social channels, and really trying to normalize sex within the media and advertising, because we don't really believe it should be a taboo subject. We do think people should be able to talk about these subjects.
Yeah, definitely. It's really clever about how to kind of click through and get to that end stage. But, you know, it shouldn't be the case that you kind of hide it at the end. It should be that case to normalize it. But it's good that we're trying to get around that and, you know, get the products to the people when they can, when they want to search for them. So moving on to some more seasonal related questions. Aside from Valentine's Day, which holiday season shows the biggest revenue uplift within the sex toy industry? And I'm quite interested for this one.
So internally, we have a naming for the months November to February as the 3 peaks challenge, which is essentially Black Friday, then Christmas, then Valentine's being the big sales peaks. Generally, with a large couples customer base, we find gifting periods to be really big hitters. The rest of the year, we do try and focus on education and new product innovation, where we'll bring out kind of our new innovative products. The Masturbation May campaign, which we actually entered the award with you guys for, was actually one of the education pieces that we were doing in May, funnily enough. This one's actually a global event created by Dr. Jocelyn Elders in 1994. So these are the kind of things we can jump on throughout the rest of the year when we're not looking at pure gifting.
Amazing. Cool. So moving on to the more festive period. This is a big question, but how do you sell love at Christmas? And I'll add to that saying that, you know, when vibrators might not necessarily be at the top of a typical stocking filler list. So how would you navigate that?
You haven't seen my stocking filler list.
Typical.
So Christmas is obviously a very saturated time across all retail verticals. I think everyone sees the peak around Christmas. But as I mentioned earlier, we do want to ensure sex toys are top of people's minds. We do this through strong education and PR across the sector. We also have a huge amount of stats, stories, podcasts. We have a YouTube channel with an ever-growing reach to kind of new customers to showcase the benefits of using sex toys in a relationship, and therefore putting it as the perfect present for your relationship. Obviously, single people are just as important too, to which we do promote the importance of self-gifting, as we believe that's also extremely important. But everyone deserves sexual happiness. We can't get around the fact we do see a big influx in couples-focused gifting throughout the Christmas period. So that's something we're always putting in gift guides around that time. The types of products around this time are usually quite couple-focused, as kind of I mentioned a moment ago. But we do also see some really Christmas-related hero products, like Secret Santa costumes or the Advent calendar, for example, which sold out in record time this year. So that was a huge one flying off the shelves. And then lastly, cutting through the general saturated noise of Christmas buying, we do try and make our ads just as engaging as possible to try and cut through all of that. I've got a couple of tactics here. For examples is firstly, using really eye-catching formats like the gift finders, and we'd use video type ads just to try and make sure the attention is pulled away from the user. And we also have had some really great success with social ads. This is actually a new feature that you guys are running at NMPI, where we can pull in some of our social feed. The social channels are a bit of a better medium for storytelling, as a lot of the images contain more of a narrative, and they can have a bit more copy and different formats that people are more used to seeing. So this can help cut through some of the noise as well and build on that overall brand experience around Christmas.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like we're really doing a lot to kind of cut through the saturation. But as you mentioned, the education in the run up to these periods, it's really crucial, and that's what Lovehoney does really well, is the education in the run up. So that's amazing. And finally, we know for a fact that our team has a great time working on the Lovehoney account in general and on campaigns such as Masturbation May. And it has been actually really eye-opening for us as a company who actually didn't have prior experience within this industry. So what do you think are the most important traits to look for whilst working within the erotic product industry?
So firstly, really great to hear you've enjoyed working on our projects. There's a few traits. A lot of it is marketing, so it will be translatable, but a few things to work in the adult sector particularly is problem solving, creativity, and an open mind. So as mentioned earlier, a lot of these products are pretty adult, so there are restrictions in place, so what you can do and what you can do to promote them. So you have to keep that in mind, firstly, to what you can actually do with your advertising, but also secondly, so you don't offend the viewer. This really restricts things like remarketing and some of the more traditional ways that you would get advertising out there. But I do like to think this helps you force yourself to think outside the box. And then secondly, a sense of humour. You'll see a lot of butt plug creatives sent your way for brainstorming sessions. So it's definitely something you need to be able to run with and not get too embarrassed about. In my interview at Lovehoney, actually, they asked me several times, would you be comfortable telling people you work here? And I can truly say I really do relish that part.
Nice. Yeah, I love it when the team comes, well, for the people I work with on the team, come over and say, oh, I saw this today at the warehouse. It's just great to kind of know that around the business. So yeah, we do love working with a company such as Lovehoney. So it's been great. And I think that's all the questions that we have. So thank you so much again, Christina, for joining us and for kind of breaking down these stigmas again, in terms of, the sex products around the industry. And yeah, I think that's all we have time for. So thank you.
Thanks so much.